Hi. I was having thoughts this morning about identity and how we self-create identities, who we think we have to be, and take on all the things that go with that. How we dress, how we walk, how we interact with people, how we think about what gives us value or what doesn't. And when that identity is formed or informed by trauma, early attachment trauma in families, then we aren't really ourselves. In fact, we may live most of our lives not even knowing who we are, because we've created an identity and all the things that go with that based on what we think will get us love, care, esteem. And when it's based on a trauma response, it's not who we really are. So one thing in my life is, I think what happens also is, as people age, it takes tremendous energy to maintain an identity, a persona. Created persona takes a lot of energy, and as we get older, we just don't have that. We have so many demands in our life that we just kind of throw in the towel. But that's not true for everyone. There's a lot of people out there that are still really struggling with trying to maintain some kind of an identity. And even when we give up parts of that struggle, then maybe other parts are still there. When I was younger, I was told that I was physically attractive, that I was a pretty girl, and I was also really smart. I loved science, but nobody ever gave me attention for being smart that way. Unconventionally smart, maybe, because I wasn't pushing it to be in the honor society or anything like that, but I really, really loved science, especially biological science, and being a free spirit, systems thinker. I didn't really fit into any kind of societally valued mold, but I was told that I was pretty, and so that is the thing I grabbed onto and made my sole value. And so I put so much pressure on myself through my 20s, especially 20s, 30s, even 40s, that I had to be thin, I had to be pretty. It wasn't just like, it wasn't an ego thing. It was like survival. If I wasn't, I would be thrown away. And when I think back on just how I tortured myself with that, but that was all a trauma response. Then, as I aged and, hormones fluctuate and having just tremendous stress beating the crap out of me all the time, there's only so much that someone can do to keep up appearances, as they say. Although I have seen, affluent women seem to have a lot more resources to do that. Plus, they have less stress. Let's face it. When you have no financial worries, that's a massive amount of stress removed from people. And so, at the end of the day, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that trauma wounds can make us form an identity that we think we have to get through life that is not us. And we may never even have discovered who we really are. The only way to do that is to start letting go and trusting that if we are ourselves, with our imperfections and our whatever things that we are afraid or terrified that will make us be rejected, even if we are rejected for those things, that we're fine. That being ourselves and being authentic is really our superpower. And anyone who would, what I came to understand and accept and believe, really trust, is anybody who would reject me because when I'm being myself, in my limited capacity to show up sometimes and all, anyone who would reject me for my beliefs, for the essence of who I am on the soul level, anyone who would reject me for that is not my person. Any group that would reject me is not my group. It's not my community. And so that's okay, because they're not mine. That's not a place where I'm going to be fed and supported and nourished. And so I started to trust that. But there's another key piece, is that human beings, we are not meant to be alone. And there are seasons, maybe, as we're transitioning into more authentic self-expression, that we are alone. And it can be very terrifying, especially for people who have attachment trauma. But because of my relationship with Jesus Christ, I really know that I really never am alone. And that really makes all the difference. Because the enemy wants to tell me that I don't fit in, I'm not valued. And being an aging female, there's that extra piece that, the most least valued people in society, besides neurodivergent people, or in some other way, people who can't perform or function in the standard norm. So anyway, with all that stuff, the enemy really tries to sometimes tell me that I have no value. But I do have value to the Lord, because when he was on that cross, he was thinking of me, and he's thinking of you too. We have tremendous value to God. And once I started to really accept that, it's the only thing that gets me through the enemy's taunts. Because I've had so much rejection from individuals, from partners, from parents, from siblings, from extended family, from communities, from professional groups. I mean, it's like kind of ridiculous how much I've been through. But everyone's had rejection, but that's the walk the Lord had me walk, because I now have a testimony of overcoming. And so identity. There's an amazing peace that comes just accepting who I am.